Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. So glad you could come back. Today we are going to talk about how to make a tincture using the scientific method, which is going to require us to weigh some herbs as well as measure out the liquid that we're going to use. But first I'd like to talk to you about what exactly a tincture is. So a tincture normally comes in these nice little brown bottles. And you can usually purchase them in either 1 ounce or 2 ounces, but essentially they are an herb that has been macerated or it's sat in a menstruum, which in most cases is going to be some sort of grain alcohol or vodka, for a number of weeks. And what that does is by the herb sitting inside the alcohol is able to extract a lot of the chemical constituents or the actionable things of that particular herb. And tinctures are great because they're very convenient. So if it's a matter of making 3 cups of tea to have every day, or a matter of using several dropperfuls of tincture, well, some people would prefer to use several dropperfuls of tincture. This is also convenient if the taste of whatever herb that you're making is not very palatable. You may choose to just have a couple of drops of a tincture in your juice or water. But again, these little things fit in your pocket. So if you have a job where you don't have access to the restroom every hour, probably drinking 3 to 4 cups of tea a day is not going to be an ideal situation for you. But you can still get the actionable items from your herb by having a couple of dropperfuls of tincture. Again, these travel well, so you have access to them anytime. They fit in your purse, your pocket, they can go through airplane security, and it's a great convenient way to access herbal medicine. Both these herbs are available on the website, red ginseng and St. John's wort. Today we're going to take a look at making a tincture the scientific way, which does require a little bit of math, but we'll zoom through that part and get to really the fun part for me, which is mixing everything together. I have an assortment of herbs that I'm going to be tincturing today. I'm just getting ready for the fall and some things that I may need for myself, my family, and for my clients in the fall. I've got orris root. Here I've got echinacea root, astragalus root, holy basil, which I absolutely love, and it really is divine in a tea. However, again, it's just not going to be beneficial for everyone all the time to have lots of teas. And then I have go-to cola, which is another favorite of mine, and I've really been hanging on to this a lot over the past couple of days, just for its cognitive function, its ability to help one focus and strengthen memory, keep a good concentration. Now that you have your notebook and your pen, there are really 3 main numbers that we are going to take into account. We need to know the weight of the plant material you want to use. We need to know the volume of the fluid. In this case, it's going to be ethanol and water that you need to prepare the tincture. And we need to know the percentage of alcohol you are starting with, in this case, 95%. There are 8 steps to this tincture preparation example. For step 1, we want to write out exactly what we're hoping to achieve with this ratio formulation, which is we want to tincture 4 ounces of a dried herb in 60% ethanol at 1:5 ratio. Then there are 4 components under that we're going to mark just to make a note of. We are starting with 95% ethanol. We have 4 ounces of dried herb. We're hoping to get a 1:5 ratio, and we want our final menstruum to be 60% alcohol by volume. Step 2 introduces us to the ratio of herb to the ratio of liquid, which in this case is going to be 4:20. Step 3 is just stating that our final menstruum will be 20 ounces of 60% ethanol. Step 4 just reconfirms that the numbers you will be working with are 4:20 at 60% ethanol, Now, the next 3 steps will tell us how to change 95% ethanol to 60% ethanol and exactly how much ethanol we'll use compared to how much water in our final menstruum. So step 5, to change 95% ethanol to 60% ethanol, we're going to divide the percentage of alcohol you are starting out with by the percentage of alcohol you want in your final product. Now, step 6, we're going to divide the amount of the final menstruum, which in this case is 20 ounces, with the number above. So that's going to be 20 divided by 1.58, and that is going to give us 1266. And 1266 is the amount of 95% alcohol that we will be using in ounces. Step 7 is to figure out the amount of water needed. And in order to do that, we're going to subtract the amount of 95% alcohol from the final amount. So in this case, we know we need a total of 20 ounces of liquid. We know that 12.66 ounces of that will be in 95% ethanol. That leaves 7.34 ounces left. That is how much you will add in water. And step 8 is just the final product, just making sure that all of your numbers add up. So at this point, we have 12.66 ounces of 95% ethanol, and we have 7.34 ounces of water. If you add those numbers together, you have a total of 20 ounces of ethanol and water, which in this case is our menstruum. Here you can see the actual process of me weighing out the herbs and measuring out the amount of ethanol as well as the amount of water that's needed for this particular formulation. So I start with 4 ounces of a dried herb. Here I am measuring out the ethanol, which we calculated to be 12.66 ounces. And to that, I'm going to add 7.34 ounces of distilled water. If you don't have distilled water, you can certainly use spring water, but preferably not tap water, just because tap water has a lot of additives in there and chemicals, and you just want the purest form of medicine possible. So here you'll see that I use distilled water. Once you have everything in your jar, you're just going to want to put the lid on, give it a good shake, be sure to label, and store it someplace for 4 to 6 weeks. But make sure you can give it a quick shake every now and then. In the top right corner, I'm using yet again the same formulation to make an echinacea root. So be sure to save your notes. You'll be able to use them multiple times with multiple herbs, and they'll come in very handy. I do hope this video has been helpful, and I'd love to know if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks.